Well, hello friends. I'm coming to you from my art studio space. The purpose of this video is to share with you my creative process in creating a new header or logo for the homepage on my website. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Dawn Herring, founder of Refresh with Dawn Herring, where beginnings are celebrated. And I'm an artist and illustrator. I'm also an aspiring musician and an avid journal keeper. So if you would like to join me to watch as I work on this illustration, you're welcome to do so. Okay, so here goes. I'm gonna use a very vibrant green color for the word beginnings, which is the name of my blog. And that blog has been going for about a year now. I started it last year, 2022. I don't know if it was in September or October, I forget which. But it was definitely at this time of year. I don't mind the crumbs. That often happens when I sharpen my pencil, I get crumbs. Okay. So I've decided to use this color because when the trees are putting out new leaves in the spring, I just love that vibrant green that you often see, especially when the sun shines on them. They look so pretty, all brand new. So I like the idea of using this color for beginnings. So my focus on my blog beginnings has to do with fresh starts. Getting started on something new, which can often be a little bit daunting if you don't know exactly how you're going to get there. One step at a time, of course, right? And it's also about new cycles. You know, when things happen in life, whether it's a birth or a death or the start of a new business or a new relationship, it's a new cycle. That's right. The little leaves here. Yeah, so I've entered a new cycle too. Not the same person I was a year ago. No. So I'm focused on my beginnings. And I encourage you to focus on your own beginnings and to be excited about those beginnings. And my purpose for the Beginnings blog is to be a source of encouragement and inspiration for your creativity. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill in these little leaves too. That's what these are, the little leaves. I think I'm gonna have to put some paper under my hand so that I don't smudge anything. That can be helpful when you're working with a product that is also water soluble. And this pencil that I'm working with right now is a Caran d'Ache Super Color 2 soft pencil. This is olive or light olive, and I happen to really like that color. And it has water-soluble qualities to it. Now I'm going to go right to here and work on the word refresh. Because I want to use this color on it. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. Now, my goal with the lettering is to keep the letters narrow as much as possible. That's why it's important to have a sharp pencil so they don't get too thick. Okay. There we go. So another thing we focus on at beginnings is exploration. Yeah. What are we exploring right now in our lives? Don't mind me, I keep blowing off the the crumbs from my pencil. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start to fill, kind of outline the little pot. And my goal, of course, is to make it pretty much as straight as I can, but not like exacting, because I like things a little bit wonky as an illustrator. I do. I'm not overly careful or cautious or precious about the exactness of it. Okay. So now that we filled that in a little bit, I'm gonna fill this with color. So yesterday, when we were recording this, I was talking to you about my beginnings blog, which is what this illustration is actually representing. And we were talking about beginnings, fresh starts, new life cycles, and the like. And then I think we might have touched on exploration, which is one of the elements of creativity that I like to talk about and experience for myself as an artist, as a creative. Yes, exploration is making space for the new, if you think about it, because if you're exploring something, you know, you want to see how it works or what you can learn that you don't already know. And that's exciting, just thinking about it. Yeah. Okay. As we work on the little bottom here of the pot. So exploration is an important aspect, really, of creativity, so that you don't become stagnant with where you are. I'm grabbing me a dark brown color so that I can fill this in a little bit with dirt. Since it's a potted plant. Yeah. Throw a little bit of soil in there around the little bits that are growing. Just a little bit. Okay. That looks pretty good. I'm going to grab a piece of paper to put under my hand so that the water-soluble quality of the pencil that we used will not dissolve under my hand, because that would be very messy. I've actually had that happen to me before, and I'm like, okay, we will definitely do what we can to prevent that from happening. Yeah. Okay, we made a little misnomer there with that line, so I will have to erase that later. A little bit of crumb going on there. Okay, that's a little better, right? Get some crumbs there sometimes. Yes, it's a very crumbly pencil for some reason. I get that sometimes. I think the Prismacolor has a more of a tendency to crumble like that than the Caran d'Ache does. Not really sure why, but yeah. So I often just blow it off the surface. Usually that's enough to keep me going. I'm gonna go back to this one again because the rest of the letters are a little bit darker than this one. Okay, so basically we're just highlighting the outline of the letters to give them more, just more, more depth. Okay, and then we have the little leaf. I might add a little more over here too. A little more detail on that. Okay, and then we'll continue on down here. Yeah, the word I was looking for before about this is definition. Then when you use a darker hue with a lighter hue, that the darker hue gives it more definition. And definition is so important when it comes to creating a visual so that it's more defined. Exactly. Okay, we'll kind of give this a little detail too. I like the way that looks. Okay, and then we're going to do just a little bit on the refresh letters. keep getting crumbs. Okay, all right, we're going to switch now and do the lettering. I have to cover a lot of it so that I don't smudge it. And do the letter A. So what have you been exploring in your creativity right now? What's getting your curiosity aroused? What's exciting you right now as you explore? You're welcome to leave a comment and share if you want to. So exploration is a really important aspect of creativity because it kind of gets you out of your comfort zone, I think, a little bit. I know it does for me. I remember several years back, I was working primarily with pen and marker with my illustration work. And then I decided that I wanted to explore some other mediums because I was getting bored. That is the truth. I was getting bored. And so I decided to try my hand at some other things, from crayons to pastels to pencils. And finer pen too. I didn't completely give up the pen. So that's what I did, and I've been working now with pencil, both regular and water-soluble pencil, in my illustration work. And it has been super fun exploring the qualities of each art supply and trying out different things. I know that I love solid coverage. That's very important to me. So as you explore, you discover the things that work for you and that you may not like. That's all part of the process. And it's good. It's all good because then you can say, well, I like this, but I don't like that. Yeah. And your preferences are extremely important because that's all part of who you are as a creative person. Yeah. Trying not to make these letters too thick, which is really, really hard to do, but I'm trying to make them as thin as I can so that they're easily read. Don't want the pencil to be too thick because then it might make it difficult to see what it actually says. I want there to be space between the letters is kind of where I'm going with that. And I do the spiral with the O in illustration because I love the spiral. Makes it more fun and dynamic to me visually. Okay. Well, hello friends. This is part 3 of working on my new website logo for my beginnings blog, and I am in the process of setting my space up to get started on that. I thought I would just include that process in my video. Yeah. So I'm getting out my Prismacolor Premier Color pencils and my Caran d'Ache Super Color 2 colored pencils, which are water soluble, and my Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2 pastels, which are also water soluble. Don't know if I'll be using them or not. So we were working on this last time, and we've got this far with it. And so I'm going to work on more of this now, and I'm going to bring you along with me. Okay, so we're going to start off with the malachite green that we've been using. And my goal is to make the lettering as thin as possible so that it makes it easier to read. So we're going to start with the word music. There we go. So last time we were recording, we were talking about my beginnings blog and the different topics that we touch on there. And we were talking about exploration, trying new things. And I also really love the aspect of experimentation, which is really more of like, for me, it's been trying new art supplies or new ways of using art supplies. You know, like switching from pen to pencil and pastel, or switching from watercolor to gouache, depending on whether I'm in my art journal or using it in other contexts. And there are still avenues that I want to explore that I have yet to try. I mean, I've gotten the supplies I need to do them, but oftentimes what I'm already working on takes precedence over those other things that I might want to try. So we got music done. Now I'm going to work on the word journaling. Journaling is actually one of the tools that I use for experimentation because I'm able to talk about the things that I'm trying, what I like or don't like about what I'm experimenting with. It's always good to be able to write down your experiences when you experiment, especially for future reference. Now, when it comes to my long narrative personal journal where I do my evening illustration, I don't necessarily refer back to it, except maybe visually. If I want to remember something or go back to something as a reference point, I will use my bullet journal for that, because it's easier for me to find the content at a later time when it's in that form, which is one of the reasons why I have a bullet journal, because it's easy to keep track of things. Like if I'm experimenting with something, I can write it down in there, and then I have a reference point as to when it happened, which is very convenient. So bringing it back to experimentation. Okay, moving on to the letter G. Thought I'd throw a little bit of cursive in there. As a design element. Okay, I'm going to draw up a little journal here. Decided to fill the letters in with a little more kind of like a brighter color. Just to give it a little more so it's not so dark. Usually when I do lettering, I start with a lighter color first, but I didn't do that this time, so kind of going in with it afterwards. So now I have to consider whether or not I want to use the brighter green to highlight the darker lettering. Now I realize that's a risk now that I have it all filled in, but it might be worth trying. Brighten things up a little bit. So we've got the fresh starts, we've got the new cycles, and we've got exploration and experimentation. And this all feeds our creativity, which is what Beginnings, my blog at Refresh with Dawn Herring, is all about. And my goal as an artist, a creative, is to encourage you in your own pursuits of creativity as you meet up with each new cycle and as you start each day as a fresh, kind of like a fresh canvas to work with, because every day is a new day. I think I'm liking the highlights on these letters. It almost looks like they're glowing. And in reality, when we've taken time to express ourselves creatively in one form or another, whatever works for you, you may find yourself glowing with confidence and with maybe even some joy. To me, I see creativity as a way of caring for yourself and giving yourself a voice. Yes. You know what? I think I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna use this color as well in the actual letters too. This color just works for me. Do you have a color that works for you? Whether you wear it or paint with it or use it in other ways. Yeah, this is one of my colors. I happen to be wearing a little bit of that color today. Well, it's as vibrant green as I wear. I don't generally wear like the really yellow green because I have pale skin. But I like the minty kind of green. Everybody has their preferences, and you should honor yours. Okay. So what do you think? You'll have to let me know in the comments. So, thank you for joining me for this fun activity. You have the best of beginnings.